Hello everyone, it is Wednesday. That means it's time for another Crack-A-Pack video. My Crack-A-Packs are sponsored by the Ether Hub, which is both a YouTube channel that I submit some content to, and also a gaming store. You can head over to etherhubtcg.com and sign up for these really cool things called Ether Hub bundles, which gives you booster packs and basically a subscription service at a very good rate. You get the latest packs every month. There's 3 different levels of these hub bundles. Go check it out at etherhubtcg.com. And we will open this pack and talk about what is the first pick in this pack. And we'll talk about every card, as those of you who've watched me do this before know. And remember, you can post in the comments to enter into a giveaway to win all of the packs that I open this month in these Crack-A-Pack videos. So, our first common, I feel like I've had this 3 weeks in a row now. Mummy Paramount, a 2-mana 2/2 that gets pumped anytime a zombie comes into play anywhere. It's a fine card. You know, it's a 2-mana 2/2 with upside. It gets to be at its best in the black-white zombie deck, but every color actually has zombies. Yeah, every color. White doesn't have Eternals, but white has Embalm and Eternalize, and it's white already, so you'll be playing that. But that's every color has zombies, basically, is my point. So it's actually better than it looks. You don't just have to be playing black-white. It's not a great card by any stretch, but you first pick it in some weak packs. Next, we have Frontline Devastator, who is a zombie, a red one. This is a card that's overperformed for me a little bit. It's a 4-mana 3/3 that can pump itself, and it has a flick too. It's a solid card. I wouldn't first pick it over Mummy Paramount, and I hope there's never a pack where I have to first pick one. Now we have Tragic Lesson. This card's pretty good, especially in the blue-red spells deck. It can frequently draw you 2 cards for 2 mana, or in a sense, because you get to return a land and then you can replay it. But it's not a first pickable card. You play it, you start picking it up after it looks like you're moving into the blue-red deck, especially. Next we have Marauding Bone Slasher, another zombie. So our Mummy Paramount's getting big off of this pack. This thing is a 3-mana 3/3, and it has a downside, which is that if you don't have any other zombies in play, it can't block. But it's a good aggressive creature in any black deck, and it's especially good in zombie decks. Still, Mummy Paramount is better. Next, we have Beneath the Sands. This just ramps you. It also has cycling. It fixes for you as well. You'll play it in the ramp deck sometimes, but you'd rather have like Evolving Wilds, Traveler's Amulet, or whatever it's called. There's better ways to fix than this, and most of the time I try to avoid playing it unless I'm absolutely desperate for fixing because I have an off-color bomb. Okay, next we have Unsummon, which is a card that has been quite good in this format. 1 blue mana to bounce a creature is great. It's good against combat tricks. It's good as a tempo play because you pay 1 mana to make them recast a 5/5 that they paid 5 for or whatever. It bounces tokens and makes them go away permanently. I think Unsummon and Mummy Paramount are very close in power level, and I think Unsummon actually edges out Mummy Paramount for me because the Unsummon is in blue, and blue is actually a very strong color in this format because there's tons of good commons. And Unsummon fits well in basically every blue deck there is. Mummy Paramount, while fine in any white deck there is at its best in one color pair. And Unsummon is good in any blue deck you play, whether it's aggressive, whether it's control deck, whether it's anything. Right, next we have Desert of the Glorified, another cycling desert. I probably sound like a broken record if you've watched all my Crack-A-Packs, but I want to convey these deserts are good. I don't know if everyone is taking them as if they're good, but they are quite good. They have the desert subtype, which cards care about. They can cycle, which means they provide flood insurance. They also provide synergy for cycling payoffs. And just having cycling on a land is great because it keeps you from just drawing all your lands. I wouldn't take it over Unsummon or Mummy Paramount, but I think it's the 3rd best card in this pack right now, and it's a land, so that's saying something. Next, we have Manalith. This is a good card if you need fixing. Other than that, I don't really play it. There's better sources of fixing, especially if you're green. If you're not green, Manalith is one of the best things you can do, though, in terms of fixing. Wouldn't first pick it, though. Pick it up if you open up Nicol Bolas and you need some fixing, though. Thorn Moloch is next. It's sort of a subpar card for the blue-red spells deck. It's fine. Not overly exciting even in that deck, and you don't want to be first picking it. Next, we have Without Weakness, a card I don't like at all. Making your creature indestructible at instant speed sounds cool, but the problem with it is, what makes it not as good as other tricks is you don't increase your creature's stats at all. So you have to have a creature that's bigger or the same size as your opponent's creature to actually kill it and get value. If you're just blocking something and your opponent's creature is bouncing off of it, you just went down a card for no real effect. So that's why other tricks are better that pump your creature. This does come with cycling, so if you end up with Archfiend of Ifnir or Drakehaven or something, you'll play it, but you really need to have a big payoff to play it. Okay, our first uncommon is Quarry Beetle. It's a fine little creature. It's better if you have lots of ways of putting lands in your graveyard, especially if you have like the if near dead lands, the desert that puts -2/-2 counters on things. Deserts with activated abilities you can get back and use again are pretty nice. Deserts you cycled even are okay because you get to put them back in play. Next we have Dune Diviner, which I think is basically the worst desert payoff in this set. It just gains you life for 2 mana for every desert you have. Not very exciting. You'll play it in a green deck. It's still a 3 mana 2/3, but you don't want to first pick it. Next, we have Dagger of the Worthy, which I think is basically unplayable. It's a really bad equipment. You have to pay 4 total mana to give +2/+0 and afflict 1. Not something I want to do. If your deck has a lot of flying in it, it gets to be a little better, but it's still not great. Okay, well, our rare is Hour of Revelation. And this thing destroys all 9-land permanents, and it sometimes costs 3 if there are 10 permanents in play. It has been a little bit of an underachiever for me in this format. It's just hard to cast. You can't really... Like 4 and 5 mana Wrath effects, you can sort of coax your opponent into playing a bunch of creatures and you just blow up their board. In this case, you can't really do that. You're going to have to play a creature or 2 of your own. And then when you play Hour of Revelation, you're blowing up some of your own stuff, which is less ideal. Still, the sheer power of this is amazing. There are tons of board states where you're like, man, I wish I had a Wrath in my deck. That's the only way I can get out of this, right? Well, that's what Hour of Revelation can do for you. And if you're first picking it, you can really try to build a control deck, which are viable things in this format, especially in a draft that starts with a removal spell. Not a removal spell even, but a board wiping spell. So that's something to keep in mind. I think I would first pick it, and I think the second pick is Unsummon. Let me know in the comments what you would first pick. And remember, again, you can enter into a drawing to win this pack and all the other Hour of Devastation packs I've opened so far by commenting below and saying you'd like to.